All right. Greetings, everyone. My name is Wiley Brazier V, and welcome to the Google Drive Overview webinar. First off, I'd like to say thank you for your attendance. I am a certified Google trainer, certified Google for Education trainer. I'm actually located here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where I serve as the technology integration principal on assignment for East Baton Rouge Parish School System. Currently in our system, we are in the process of going Google. So if I have any of the employees of the East Baton Rouge Parish School System on this webinar right now, then you can feel free to reach out to me to provide more support for you all. Without further ado, let's get started. So what is Google Drive? First off, Google Drive is a part of a suite of Google apps. This suite of Google apps consists of Google Docs, which is like Microsoft Word, Google Slides, which is like PowerPoint, Google Sheets, which is like Microsoft Excel, and Google Forms, which is also like an online version to be able to collect information such as quizzes and surveys. And we'll have another session later on that'll talk about all of these. And another Google Apps is Google Drawings, which is where it's an online version of a drawing program that you can create images, diagrams, and graphic organizers. So the reason why we're here today is to discuss Google Drive. So what is Google Drive? It is a free online storage that allows you to create, store, access, and share all of your files. Doesn't matter what type of file type you have, you can be able to store these free online. Now, if you're using Microsoft Windows, basically Google Drive is like your My Documents. On your computer, that's where you store all of your files. You will go to your My Documents, go into those folders, and within that My Documents folder, you have other subfolders that you would store various files like your pictures, your Word documents, your PowerPoints, and music files. The Start button is where you would normally go to create new documents and new files. Most of the time you create those utilizing different software like Microsoft Office Suite. But here we're going to start to begin to show you how you can do all of these different things online through the Google Apps Suite and have all of the effectiveness and efficiencies and productivity tools at your disposal, no matter where you are. Now, when it comes to the Google Apps Suite, most of us have a Gmail email address. Now, if you have an email address, like I have a personal email address that is wileybrazier@gmail.com. So you may have one that's your first and last name or some combination of that at gmail.com. That is your personal username for Google. So with your personal Google Drive, it gives you 15 gigabytes of storage for any file type. However, such as in my district, we also have a Google Apps for Education account, or GAFE, or some people pronounce it GAF. And so GAFE stands for Google Apps for Education. Within that suite, we also have Google Drive, but as opposed to only receiving 15 gigabytes worth of storage like the personal accounts, with your GAF account, you get unlimited storage for any file type. Now, your GAF account is tied to your school district or your educational entity. There are higher education institutions like University of Alabama or Southeastern Louisiana, Princeton, and a few other Ivy League schools who also use this particular venue of GAF in order to service their students and faculty. In addition to getting Google Drive, Google Docs, Google Slides, and all of the other apps that come along with the Google Apps suite, when you have a GAF account, you also have the benefit of receiving Google Classroom and having access to Google Classroom. Google Classroom is actually an online platform where you can have classes with your students virtually. When it comes to access for Google Drive, the great benefit of having your files in your Google Drive is that they can be reached from any smartphone, tablet, or computer anywhere in the world that you have internet access. So now you always have your files with you while you're on the go. Having your files with you everywhere you are and having access to the Google Drive means that you're putting your data in the cloud. Everyone has heard about the cloud. What is the cloud? And essentially, the cloud is a bunch of servers that Google has in a warehouse. It looks like this. And if you want to take a look at it, this presentation will be available for you afterwards, and you can actually click on it, and it will take you to take a walk through the Google Data Center. And this is part of the cloud. This is just a sneak peek inside what some of the cloud looks like. Okay? But you can look at that at your leisure after the presentation. Let me get back to it. There we go. Okay, let's go full screen. Also, if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask a question during this live presentation. For those of you who are viewing this on demand, you won't be able to have access to the won't be able to respond to your questions. But those of you who are watching this live, if you have questions, please feel free to type in the address in the upper at the top of the screen here, goo.gl/slides/C, the number 6, C9DE. And I'll receive those questions and be able to respond to them as I receive them. So let's move along. So when we look at Google Drive, we're talking about we can create different folders, very similar to what we have on our computers. You can also create new files, documents, presentations, and much more. And we're going to get into that in just a moment. You can also share. You have the ability to share the various files that you have in your Google Drive, so you can share them with others so that they can collaborate and create with you, so that only one person can view it, or so that anyone in the world can view it. And we'll talk about that. I'll demonstrate that to you in just a moment. Now, how do you get to Google Drive? Essentially, we'll go to drive.google.com, or you can click on the app launcher in the top right corner of any Google web page. So let's go live and let's get started. So we're here at a brand new web page. I'm using Google Chrome, which is Google's web browser. When you open up Google Chrome, it will bring you to a brand new start page that looks very similar to this. As you can see here, I've already logged into my Google account. And so in the upper left-hand corner here, I have a colorful app launcher in my bookmarks bar. This is your bookmarks bar, and that is my app launcher. I can get to Google Drive from this location by clicking on the apps and then clicking also on Google Drive. Or I can get to Google Drive from any Google landing page by clicking on the other app launcher that is on my far right side by clicking on it and then clicking Drive, and it will bring me to the same location. So this is my landing page for Google Drive. And I've created this account with just a few in it. So if we look at this page, this is where it is very similar to your My Documents. If you look on the left-hand side, you'll see that you have My Drive. And this is where all of your folders are for your drive, all of your folders, all of your files. We have beneath it, we have a shared with me. We have a Google Photos, recents, starred, and trash. And we'll get into those in just a moment. But I do want to bring your attention to the far right side here. You have a couple of ways to display items in your Google Drive folder. Currently, we are in the list view. But as you can see, I'm hovering over it, and there's also a grid view. So when I click on it, it will go to the grid view. And the grid view basically gives you the option to be able to get a small preview of the file, or this is really beneficial when you have a folder that has images or videos in it, because you can then easily be able to see the image that you want to preview before you have to either download it or open it. There's also options to be able to sort your files. So if we click on it, we can sort them by name. So that'll put them in alphabetical order. We can sort it by the date it was last modified. You can also, if you're collaborating, have a document that you're collaborating with someone, it will show you the last time a document, which file was modified by you. There's also one that will show you which one was last opened by you. In this View Details tab, it gives information, and I like to think that this actually gives information about the overall picture of what's happening in your overall Google Drive folder. So when you click on it, it actually brings up a small window to the far right that shows everything that's happening in your Drive folder and that has taken place since the last time that you logged in. It gives details and it gives activity. So it will show that today you've created various folders or created various items. And if you click on an individual file, it will give that same information for that specific file. You can also click on the details of that file, and it will basically give you a synopsis of it and whether it is shared or not. In addition, where the file is located, the date it was created, opened, and also the size of the file as well. Now, I'm going to close this particular window. So that's a really good way for you to be able to get a good snapshot of what's taking place in your Google Drive and how you have it organized. There's also the way to check your settings here. Now, under your settings, you have a few different options. There's the settings menu. When you pull it up, there's general, and they actually show you how much storage you have, the various uploads, and this is a little more in depth. So today we will skip this piece and I'll come back and show you some more in-depth things in a future webinar. But one thing I do want to bring to your attention is the ability to get notifications. What this means is that whenever someone either modifies a document or you create a new document, it will then be able to send you notifications on this particular device. So currently I'm on my laptop, and so this will send me notifications there. You can also get a few keyboard shortcuts here underneath the settings menu as well. When we look at downloading Drive, this is the option to be able to download a software from the site that will automatically sync all of your files that you have on your desktop or your laptop to the online version of Google Drive, so that as you edit files on your laptop, you don't have to automatically update, it will automatically update them, and you don't have to upload a new version of the file online. Let's go over to the left side. Oh, I'm sorry, at the top, we also have a few options to be able to get a shareable link, to be able to share with individuals, to be able to preview a file, to remove the file by putting in the trash. And then we also have more options. More options gives the ability, I have this particular file selected. I can open it with Google Docs or some other app that I have connected to my account. I can move this file to a particular folder. I can add a star to it. I can rename it. I can view the details. I can manage the versions. This actually means that I can be able to switch it back to a previous version of the file if the one that I have currently is not the version that I would like. I can also easily make a copy of this particular file by just clicking on the button, and it will create a copy of it really quickly. So that's the dominoes matching game, and this is the dominoes matching game here. I can also download that particular file to my desktop or laptop by clicking on the download button. I'm going to rename that file to show you how easy it is to rename. After I click on rename, I'm going to now just type Drive webinar file. It even gives me the type of file that it is. This is a ping file. And I'll click OK, and it will rename that particular file. Okay. As I look to my right here, underneath the My Drive folder, I have those files that are shared with me. If I click on Shared with Me, it will show only the files that someone has shared with me. So the first time whenever someone shares a file with you, many times people will look in their My Drive folder and think that they haven't received the file yet. But you need to make sure that you click on your Shared with Me folder in order to see all of the different files that someone, or folders that someone has shared with you. Google Photos is another really good feature, because many people keep photos either on their phones, iPads, and that takes up storage there. But you can upload photos into your Google Drive and save your memory on your devices. If you click on Recent, This actually gives you the most recent files that have been opened or modified. And so today it just shows just a moment ago that I just renamed this this file to Drive Webinar File. I can star file. So currently I don't have any star file. So if you have some files in your Google Drive that are very important to you, and you want to make sure that you know where they are and can easily access them if they're in a variety of folders, you can click on starred file. You can put a star by that file, and all of those will appear right here. And then, of course, there's also your trash. Let's go back up to the top and get started by creating a new. When you click on new, we'll create a new folder because we want to keep it organized. So this is the Drive Webinar folder. It's easily created that folder for us. Now, as you migrate to Google Drive, you will want to upload your files from your desktop into your online Google Drive. This is very beneficial, especially for those who work in systems where you cannot access the intranet from outside of a particular facility. So in my school district, we have been uploading files into our Google Drive, and it allows our teachers to access their files even when they are not at their school site. So in order for you to be able to do this, there are two ways. You can upload individual files and you can upload folders. So what we'll do first is upload a file. So I've clicked on upload file, and I'll see that there is a PDF here, and I can select multiple files if I want. Let me go to a particular folder here that I've created previously called the webinar folder. And so there are a few different types of files. As you can see, it does not matter what type of file it is. I have a photo, I have Word documents and PDFs, even have a little MP4 video. And so if I want to upload individual files, I can click on them and I can hold down the control button and select multiple files, or I can just highlight all of them and click open. When you do that, as you can see, it will show how many items I have uploaded, and it'll also give an estimated time limit. It says less than a minute left. As these circles become checks, that shows it has now been uploaded into the drive. And as you can see, they are starting to populate into folders that I have for them. Okay? So it's still in two files. While that is continuing to upload, what I'll show you now is the folder upload, because many of you may have very large folders, or you have a more organized folder, because mine isn't as nearly as organized as some of you all's. And so if you have your folder really, really organized, then you may want to do a folder upload. So if you click on folder upload, you'll see that it looks a little bit different. So you look at the folder upload, and it'll say browse for a particular folder. So this time, as opposed to clicking on individual files, you'll click on the particular folder. So I'm actually just going to upload the entire folder that I created earlier called webinar folder. And I have the ability to be able to view everything that's in it. So if I didn't want to upload the whole folder, I could simply go to whichever folder inside that I want to upload. Now notice something here, that there is not the ability to select individual files. This is strictly for when you are uploading groups of files that are already organized into folders. Now, when we look at this Some people try to upload a whole desktop, and unfortunately, that is not ideal because that, as you saw earlier, that time, I'll go ahead and click OK. But as you'll see, that time limit when you try to upload a whole folder, that time limit will be so long that it may not actually go through, and there may be any folders there for it to actually go through. Okay. So looking back here, it's showing that there are 27, that there are a total of 35 files in the particular folder, and it's showing the progress of how many files have been uploaded in that time span. So right now we have 33, and then we're going to be moving up 35. So you can see it's a very quick process in order to get up into the cloud. And all of them have now been uploaded. So we have checks here. Now you can minimize this, and actually while you're continuing to, while your files are loading, you can continue to work online doing a variety of things, or you can work on your desktop. And so that's the really, really great benefit of during your upload, you can continue to work. It doesn't stop you from doing anything that you normally would do. So you can then, I'll go ahead and close that. What I'm going to do now is to show you, I'm going to go into this particular folder, and what I'm going to do is to show you how to share a particular file. So I have clicked on this particular file, this particular folder, and in the toolbar here, we have a few different options. Let's start with the share button. So before I click on the share button, all files that you upload are only visible to you. They're only visible to you. No one else has access to your particular files or folders. Even in a GAF account that's tied to your educational entity, the super users in your district do not have access to be able to go into your particular folders and be able to view the documents that are there. Now, those things that are stored on the school server, they're probably a little bit more accessible to your district personnel. So it just goes to show some of the security features that you have attached to your Google Drive. So when I click on the share button, it immediately comes up with the option to be able to put in that person's email address. Now, this particular account that I'm in, I don't really have a lot of contacts stored here, but I could put in my personal, I could share this with my personal email, and then it will pull me up. Okay, it even pulls up my avatar and everything. And if I'd like to, I can actually write that person a little note there saying, hey, check out these files. They are for your perusal. And then also there are options here. I can also give them or decide what level of access that I want to give them. Now, currently, as you see, the pen has it set to be able to edit, that person that I'm sharing with can edit the folders that are in this file, the files that are in this folder. Or if I only want them to be able to view them, I can then just click on view, and the pen turns to an eye so that they can only just view those files. I'm going to click on advanced. When it comes to advanced, I like to look at this screen because it really gives the details of what's going on with the particular file, who I'm sharing it with, and who has access to it, and what type of access that they have. So as you can see down at the bottom here, it still has that I just put in my personal email address that can view the file. But for everyone else, it is private, only I can access. It also gives a link that you can share. But again, if you share this link, if you don't have your permissions set correctly, then those who you have given the link to will not be able to access the files or the folders. I'm going to go ahead and click change because I want to show you the different types of link sharing that are available to you through the Google Drive. So down at the bottom where you can see it's bulleted that only I have access to the particular file. You can also set that anyone at your particular domain. I'm actually using a Google account that is tied to an entity. And so anyone at this, if you have a Google Apps for Education account, then it will give you the ability to share it with anyone at your GAF account or anyone in your school district with that particular link. And they must now, with this one, they must actually have the link in order to access it or in order to find it. If you click on the next one here, anyone in that particular organization can find and access it because there are various forms of searching that people in your entity can perform in order to search and find files. And so this one would allow them to actually search and be able to find it. The next one here that we have, anyone with the link, and as you can see down here at the bottom, it says access anyone, and there's no sign-in that is required. Others, they would have to sign in order to view those files. And so when you click on the one for anyone with the link can access the file, it actually allows them not to have to be able to sign in, and you can share this link out with anyone who you'd like to have it. The last one that we have here is called Public on the Web. Now, again, you can share this link out and no one has to sign in order to access the files. But with this particular sharing permission of public on the web, what happens here is that it is now included into the Google search engine so that when people around the world put in various keywords or conduct searches, it then also includes whatever file or folder, the name and the information that's there, it includes that into the Google search algorithms. So what I'm going to do here is just keep it at off. I'm going to save that, or I can do the public on the web. That's fine for these badges. And then I can click send, and I also can send a copy of this invitation to myself. Okay. I can also check whether I want to notify them or not. And that's where, remember, we were able to add that message. If you don't add the message, it'll just send them a quick little email. Now, there is another feature here. Let's say I have a folder or a file that's just for your eyes only. I can then click here on prevent editors from changing access and adding new people on this particular button and just click save. And now when I do that, when I send it to my personal email, if I access this file or this folder from my personal email, I can go in and view them, but I cannot share it with others. If you don't check this, then if you share it with someone, they can also add others to be able to view the files or folders as well. So I'll just click send. It will then ask me that if I really want to share with this particular person, and especially because I'm actually sharing with someone who's outside of my Google Apps organization, and I want to say yes. And then it sends it, and it now shows who has access to it, what they have access to. I can even change the type of permission that they have straight from this particular advanced screen. I can make them the owner, meaning if I'm leaving the organization and I want them to have the various files or folders that were created here. I can then make them the owner and transfer ownership. I can also, one of the newer features is I can set an expiration date. So if there's only a particular time that I need this person to have access to the folder, I can prevent them from editing. I can prevent them from adding new people. But then I can also set it to 30 days, 7 days, or I can give some type of custom date that it's only available to them until a particular date. And I'm just going to cancel expiration. Or you can click on the clock. Excuse me. I can click on the clock and I can also perform that same expiration date setting. I'll click done and it will take me back to this particular menu. Now, I don't know if you noticed it before, but this is the particular folder that I shared. And previously, it was just a plain folder with nothing on it. Now, as you can see, it actually, and I'll zoom in for you, it actually has a little person on the folder. Anything that has this little silhouette of a person actually means that you are sharing this file with someone. So again, what I'll do is, just so you can see the difference again, I will click on my drive, which takes me back out. That's my breadcrumbs there. And so this particular folder has no person on it, neither does this one or this one. But if I want, I can right click on it, or I can select it and add the sharing features. And then when I put in my name or my personal email address and send it, now you'll see the little person pop up on the folder, which indicates that I am now sharing this folder or this file with someone or multiple people. And if that person logs in, they will then access it here, very similar to you would in their shared with me folder. Okay, let's see. Let's go back up to my drive, to our overall Google Drive. And one thing that I forgot to mention was when you when you go into a particular folder, it then brings up the various, what we call breadcrumbs at the top. So I'm going to go into the badges folder as well. And as you can see, these breadcrumbs are actually showing me where I am in my Google folder. If you take a look here, it shows that now I'm in a shared folder. And if I just hover over the silhouette or the icon, then it will show me who has access and what type of access they have. Remember, the little eyeball means that they only have view-only permissions. If the little pin were there, then that would mean that they have edit permissions. You can also change the sharing settings right from the breadcrumbs menu as well. Okay? All right. You can also, in your upper right-hand corner, you can get notifications as well. And I think that actually just about does it for our session on Google Drive. We finished a little bit early. Let's do this. For the various file types, many of you have Microsoft Word documents, video files, and things of that nature. I do want to point something out to you. Google has its own suite of apps that allow you to be able to use Microsoft word processing and presentations, which we went through earlier. You have your slides, you have your docs, and all of those things. But some of the file types that you may upload into your Google Drive don't necessarily fit the format type that Google has available to you. Let's take, for instance, a PDF file. This is a PDF file. If you have a file type that is not necessarily supported with the Google Apps Suite, when you double click on it, it will give you a preview. So this is what your preview screen would look like. So if you look at this particular preview, you can actually print, you can download this file, you can set it to share with others, and it gives you a few more actions as well, where you can move it to a different folder. You can add a star to it, remember, so I'll add a star to it because I believe that's very important. I can also remove the star if I change my mind that that's not as important as I need it. I can rename the document as well. Here I can zoom in on the document and then get the details. I can also have it open in a new window as well, in a single window by itself. Or I can close the preview. That doesn't close your overall drive, but it does close the preview for that particular file. Now, as you saw, I just started that particular file and it moved it directly to the front. I also have the ability now to click on the starred folder and it's there as well. When you star a file, it does not remove it from the current folder that it's in. It just makes it available to you through that particular star folder. So as I go back in, once I double click on it and bring up the preview, I can look at the whole page, and then I can also scroll through the entire document. I can scroll through the entire document here. If I try to open up, or if I click on, this is a video file, and as you can see, it has the little play button on it. If I double click it, it will actually give the preview of that particular file right in the preview window. As you can see also, when I hover over it, I can go to the previous file, or I can go to the next file as well and just scroll directly through these various files that are in this folder. When it comes to your Microsoft files, this is a PowerPoint. And so again, it will open it up into the preview mode. Now, we just discussed earlier that PowerPoint is the equivalent to Google Docs, Google Slides. So as you can see, the top banner here, it shows the file type. Now, the great thing that Google has made available to us is that if you have a PowerPoint that you have uploaded into your drive, you can, if you click on the down arrow, you can open it with Google Slides. So if I click on it, it will actually transfer the document format from Microsoft PowerPoint into Google Slides presentation. And as you can see, it only took just a moment. And now I have one that is fully editable to me online. We'll have another session, another webinar session that will cover Google Slides, but I did want to make sure that I show you that feature. I'm going to close that one, and I will open a Word document, and it would be very similar because here I can open it in Google Docs if I would like, because this is a Microsoft Word file. Okay, let's check to see if we have any questions. If you have any questions, you can feel free to send me your questions to that particular URL that was shared with you earlier. Let me share that back out with you at this time. That's that particular URL I'll share out with you. If you have any questions, you can feel free to put this particular URL. You don't have to put any www in front of it. You can feel free to place that there and send me any questions that you may have. While you have that, I am going to take one more look into the Google Drive and the show you the recent features. So now that I have opened up a few more items, it has now shown me all of the particular files and folders that have been accessed by me today and then in the past. So it will give all of the various files that are available to you and when you accessed those particular files last. All right. I think that will conclude. I think I've shown you a variety of things as an overview. Again, this is merely an overview for those of you who are new to Google Drive. And so I have shown you quite a few things today. Um, if you have further questions, you can definitely reach out to me. We're going to be providing this particular webinar, and it's available to you at mypd247.com. Go to mypd247.com. We actually have a summer technology learning series that this is a part of. If you click on the webinar, you can actually go here and be able to register for our upcoming webinars. We have another one that's going to be taking place on, that's Monday, I believe, on June 13th, that will cover Google Docs. You can easily register for them here. But this particular webinar is under Google Drive, and it actually will be available right here in the home page. There's also the opportunity to give session evaluation and feedback because this is our first one. And so we want to make sure that as we continue to do these, we get and we actually want these to be truly, truly beneficial for you. You can also take a quiz and get a certificate for continuing education credits. And so for those of you who need to get some professional development in and have some documentation that you have completed some training this summer, you can take that quiz. Everything is automated. It will automatically for you and give you immediate feedback on whether you passed or whether you need to take it again. And it will also immediately send you an a verification with your certificate that you can then either email or print out and show it to your supervisor or administrators. So this is where this will be archived. I do encourage you to register for a few more sessions that we have upcoming. Again, that's mypd247.com. For those of you working in the East Baton Rouge Parish School System, you can feel free to reach out to me. Let me put my contact information up on the screen for everyone. This is my contact information. So for those of you in the East Baton Rouge Parish School System, you can feel free to reach out to me there. And this is also my contact information as well. So you can feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to provide any other support. I really would like some feedback from you all so that I can get a gauge of more information that you would like to see being presented. And then also giving the tips that are really highly important to you. We have a few upcoming sessions regarding Google Classroom, savvy parenting, and so please go ahead and register for some of those. And I will see you soon.